Today we're talking about some signature spells that we can cast for 0 mana in Oathbreaker. And that's great because then we can cast it the same turn that we cast our Oathbreaker if we need to. Alright, let's start with the combat tricks. Mutagenic Growth gives target creature +2/+2 till end of turn, and it has Phyrexian mana, so you can pay 2 life instead of paying any mana. Gather Courage and Pax Favor are both giant growth type spells that have Convoke, meaning each creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1. Admittedly, Convoke feels a lot less free than some of these other options, because depending on the mana value of the spell, you're going to need a lot of untapped creatures to spare for this. But you can also Convoke away the commander tax, which means it can be free the next time you cast it too, if you have enough creatures. Invigorate says, if you control a forest, rather than pay the spell's mana cost, you may have an opponent gain 3 life. Target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Now I've looked at probably 1,000 different Oathbreaker deck lists, and I'll say that, well, Invigorate is not exactly a popular signature spell choice. It's probably the most popular one on this video. Next, we've got the Fogs. Snag says you may discard a forest from your hand rather than pay its mana cost. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by unblocked creatures this turn. Pause for Reflection has Convoke, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn, and Obscuring Haze. If you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. Prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures your opponents control. Obscuring Haze is probably the second most popular signature spell choice on this list. Again, not common by any means, but because the card can be cast without paying anything, no alternate cost at all, it has the potential to be powerful. Sundering Vitae and Force of Vigor both destroy artifacts or enchantments. I'm going to put them on the list here, but I would not pick this as a signature spell. It's just not that powerful in Oathbreaker. Sprout Swarm, Sprouting Renewal, and Scatter the Seeds are all Convoke spells that make creature tokens. And while not very powerful, I do like that the tokens that they make can be used to cast the spell the next time, especially in the case of Scatter the Seeds, which makes 3. Chord of Calling is a Convoke spell that searches your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and puts it onto the battlefield. I think it's worth noting that you can always get a Dryad Arbor with this with an X of 0. Noxious Revival is another Phyrexian mana spell, so you can pay 2 life instead. Put target card from a graveyard on top of its owner's library. Refreshing Rain and Nourishing Shoal are both life gain spells that can be cast for free. Refreshing Rain is hit or miss, your opponent has to control a swamp, and Nourishing Shoal asks that you exile a green card with converted mana cost X or less from your hand rather than pay its mana cost. Land Grant says if you have no lands in hand, you may reveal your hand instead of paying its mana cost. Search your library for a forest card and put it into your hand. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or if it sparked an Oathbreaker deck idea for you. Here's a few more Oathbreaker videos that I think you might enjoy. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next time.